Welcome to episode 15 of Overtime with Jared B. and Johnny O. The NFL, Power Five, college football playoffs, and more are heating up. Johnny O, what you got for the Power Five this week?
All right. Well, it's been very interesting this past week. I'm going to pull a Johnny L, but not right off the bat. So at number five, I got Kansas City.
Wow.
They're barely hanging on. I'm starting to think they're a little overrated right now, and the only reason I'm just not sure if if this year is their year. Maybe they're not as hungry or whatever, but come playoff time, which they're going to be in the playoffs automatically with the record. Maybe they get a little hungry and they start showing us the real Kansas City team. But right now, I'm not impressed, man. They barely got by the Panthers, and then they shouldn't have won the Raiders game. Absolutely not. I mean, the Raiders kind of screwed that game up. But so
Oh, yeah.
Kansas City, they're still hanging out at my number five. It's hard to pop them out of there. My number four team, the Minnesota Vikings. We got to start showing them some respect. They're 10-2. They are definitely worthy of a number four spot here. They've been there all year. I mean, they're playing good, really good football. Now they do have Green Bay and Detroit coming up at the end of the season, so that should be a telling tale for them. But Minnesota's playing solid football. Number three, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Russell Wilson yesterday looked like he used to look about 4 or 5 years ago with Seattle. I mean, he looked absolutely outstanding. He threw for over 400 yards. He looks comfortable. Maybe it's the system he's got going with Tomlin, but this team is I'm starting to believe in them, and I think they believe they can make some noise, and maybe get to that AFC championship. But, they're playing real football. And again, Russell Wilson, I thought maybe he lost a step or two, but his last three games, he's right there doing exactly what Pittsburgh wants him to do. My number two team, the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen. The Bills are hungry. They can win anywhere. They can win in a snowstorm. It doesn't matter. And what he did last night was ridiculous. What did he? He received a touchdown. He threw for one and he ran for one, and that was outstanding. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's the first bet I've won all season. I had had a bet with him and Brock Purdy with touchdowns.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it worked out for me.
But I love watching games like that, man. That brings it back, back to the day when it's snowing and blowing and all that. But San Francisco just did not show up. They have all these injuries. McCaffrey got hurt again. Do I feel bad for him? Yes. For the team, I hate seeing McCaffrey get injured because he's fun to watch, but they're done. They are done.
Yeah.
The number one, I'm pulling a Johnny O. I cannot pick one or the other, man.
Oh, come on. At number one?
You let me go first.
It's a mistake. It was a mistake. You can't have a tie at number one.
Tied at number one. The Philadelphia Eagles fly, and the Detroit Lions. I can't drop Detroit down. And Philadelphia is playing such good football. Philadelphia on an 8-game winning streak. Detroit on a 10-game winning streak. These two teams are equal. I mean, all parts of the game, they're on fire. Philadelphia is healthy. That's why I had to sneak Philadelphia in that number one spot. They're very healthy. Detroit is not healthy. They got a lot of injuries on their defensive side. So we shall see. And Green Bay and Detroit play this Thursday. So my prediction I'm going to throw out there, I'm just going to, Saquon Barkley, I think we all know. Saquon Barkley is just playing out of his mind. Jalen Hurts, again, is just playing solid, behind center. He only had to throw 19 passes Sunday. And their defense to hold the way overrated Baltimore Ravens. I'm done with them, man. They got 5 losses now. I think we've been giving them too much credit over the season. They shut them right down.
Yeah.
Look out for Philly. Look out for Detroit. I mean, it's really a 2-team race in the NFC. But Boy, do I love the way my Eagles are playing. And let me just throw one more real quick stat. Then I'm going to let you take over.
All right.
I told you last week about Saquon Barkley. If you just count the second half stats, he would have been fourth in the league in rushing. If you do it again this week, only second half rushing yards, he would be number 3 in the NFL this
Oh
week.
my gosh.
And of course, he's
Yeah,
number 1 with 1,500 yards, overall. And Derrick Henry's number 2. But that's an unbelievable stat that he would be number 3 in the NFL just in the second half.
that's incredible. And don't worry, I know I didn't get a chance to clip that last week. You got your best clip going right now anyway on our TikTok page. Make sure you follow us Overtime with Jared P and Johnny O. I think you're over 10,000 on your latest video making
Yeah.
fun of ESPN. So yeah, I didn't forget about it. We still got you. We got it coming. All
All right.
right, the Power Five, the real Power Five. This is not a participation trophy podcast where everyone's first place, but that's fine if you want to do that. That's your choice. Freedom of speech, I guess.
Oh, just give us your Power 5, will you please?
Well, you did six, and I mean, I can understand a tie for fifth and sixth. You can't tie at number one. All right. At number five, I have the Green Bay Packers. I just like this team. This is a team flying under the radar. Again, I believe two of their losses came when Jordan Love got hurt, and then the game he didn't play in. So really, they've lost one game with a healthy Jordan Love. They're balanced. They're he doesn't make mistakes. They're well coached. They've been to the NFC Championship game multiple times in the last 5 years. I like this team a lot at number five. At number four, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Russell Wilson, 414 yards passing. They exploded for over 500 yards of offense. Now, they gave up a lot of points. Like we've been saying all year, the Bengals are the worst, best team in the NFL. They're the
Yeah.
best, worst team in the NFL, I should say. That team, they should have 8 or 9 wins. They have a horrible defense. If their defensive coordinator makes it into next season, that will be a travesty.
I agree.
If they had a middle of the road defense, this is a team that would win the AFC North for sure.
Yep.
They put up big points. Joe Burrow, if they were winning, would probably be the leading MVP candidate, but they're not winning, and so you know how that's going to go. So at number three, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs winning is winning is winning, and I don't. I know it seems like we're going to uh, beat this, into the ground, but they are winning, and winning is hard in the NFL. I almost feel like they're kind of like the Warriors and the Lakers of old, maybe even the Bulls, where Jordan never took time off, but like they really turn it on in the playoffs because this team still has a great record. I mean, if this
Yep.
was the NBA team, this would be you're heading towards the end of the year. This would be a team with 5 losses in the NBA. So they're not like they're not winning, but I feel like they're going to still turn that switch on. And people I keep forgetting. I shouldn't say people. Rasheed Rice has not come back yet. He may not come back, but he was playing as well as any wide receiver at the end of last year as a rookie and had a lot of promise coming into this year. And so they still haven't figured out their offense. And their secondary has become a little bit of an issue. But uh, if it's a close game, we know who's going to win. I think their last 14 wins have been by 7 points or less. 14 wins in a row, 7 points or less. That's too close for comfort. But also, who are you going to bet on, right?
Yeah.
All
I
right,
hear you.
because you if you would told me, all right, they're going to play the Panthers and Oakland back to back, the Raiders. I'm sorry, not Oakland, the Raiders, Las Vegas, and they would win by a combined 6 points. I'm like, there's no way.
Yep.
But there it is. So we'll see. But yeah, that's why have them at number three. Then at number two, the Detroit Lions. They're banged up, like you mentioned. I don't know why I love this team. I love watching this team. I love everything about their story. I love their head coach. I love Jared Goff. Getting a second chance in Detroit. It's like the second chance city. And there's something about them that I don't feel comfortable with. They had a very close game with Chicago, but to be fair, they did win. Johnny O, by the way, you need to watch a show on Netflix. It's been there for, I think, since 2018. It's called The Detroiters. It's about an ad agency in Detroit. It's a comedy by former SNL writer Tim Robinson. It
Oh,
is the most irreverent. Think of The Office, but really, really stupid. I
oh,
mean,
I
but even
love
stupider.
it. What's it called?
The Detroiters. Detroiters. I recommend anyone watching it. If you're looking for something to watch on Netflix, there's 2 seasons. Episodes are 21 minutes. It is hilarious. Tim
I'm on.
Robinson and his co-host or co-star, his name's Sam Richardson. They co-wrote and they're both acting in it, but they play two guys that run an ad agency, and it is so dumb but so funny.
I love stupid humor, man. I love it.
You would love it, dude. Jason Sudeikis is the executive producer. Sudeikis
Nice.
shows up in the first episode. Key from Key and Peele's in it. I mean, they have different uh,
Oh, love it. Yes.
like every episode there's like a new actor that you've seen that plays a character, but it's
Yep.
really really fun. So anyway, I thought about the Detroiters. I just started watching it. It's hilarious. Number two, at number one, your Philadelphia Eagles. They're strong, man. They're
Oof.
healthy. I like their defense more than their offense.
Yep.
I mean,
I,
Baltimore was averaging right at 30 points a game, and they struggled to put points on the board. They struggled to move the ball. And I agree with you. And I also want to say, yes, I did have Baltimore in my top five, but I haven't in a long time. And what did I say earlier on in the season? Their defense is an issue. You
mhm.
cannot win, and you can't win in shootouts all the time, especially as it gets colder. Yes, they do have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. They have a great running game, but their defense is just not good. It's not good enough to be a deep in the playoff run or a Super Bowl contender. It's just not. And so,
Still on Baltimore. Okay.
Baltimore, yeah,
Yeah. Lamar has not won any big games in the playoffs, and he can't even win the big games in regular season. He can't
nope,
beat Pittsburgh. Philadelphia goes into. I was scared to death of the game. We're
yeah,
going Philadelphia going into Baltimore. And it was no problem. Lamar. I mean, obviously he's got all the numbers and all that. He's a great quarterback, but if you can't win big games in the regular season, he's nothing. It doesn't count for anything.
nope, yeah.
So
So, and that's why I've always been kind of suspect with his MVP awards because I'm like he doesn't win any big games, regular season or postseason. So it's
please,
like that's the mark of a MVP. The most valuable player is the guy like Mahomes, like a Mahomes that, yeah, you're stinking it up against the Panthers. 2 weeks ago I was there, but nobody in the stadium, including any Panthers player, had any doubt that when there's a minute and a half left and Mahomes had the ball down, 4 points, that they're going to come back, or down a couple points, they're going to come back and win.
absolutely.
And same with Oakland. There was no doubt. I guess the Panthers tied the game, but still, there's no doubt that Mahomes gets the ball last, he's going to make a play. And so
Absolutely.
that's an MVP. Not,
Yeah,
it's kind of like Michael Jordan loaned out his MVPs because you would have 6 or 5, and he should have had 10.
right.
So it's like people get tired of the same people winning all the time. Lamar
Yeah,
is certainly a talent, but I'd much rather have Patrick Mahomes than Lamar Jackson.
I agree. But you don't have Buffalo in your top five. You
Nope,
don't have Buffalo in your top five.
I do not.
Oh
No.
my gosh.
Oh wait. I have them tied at number 3 or tied at number 5. I like
Now you're
Buffalo.
talking.
You know what? It's Josh Allen again. Now he has lost multiple times to Mahomes, but again, it's like when it comes down to the big game, he hasn't won big games either. To be fair,
Oh, come
and so
on, man! I mean, they've all been against Kansas City. He has beaten Kansas City, okay? But I
yeah,
mean,
but
of course,
not
in the
but not when it
AFC
counts.
Championship, no. But at least he wins in the regular season. No, no, totally different as far as wins and losses for big games from Josh to Lamar, no doubt. But
As an
come on,
Eagles fan, who would you rather meet in the playoffs? And I know you wouldn't until later. Who would you rather meet in the playoffs that are in my top 5? Would you rather meet Pittsburgh, the way they're playing with their defense, or would you rather meet Green Bay? I know they're not in the NFC, but I mean, I mean, I'm not they're AFC, but with the
In the
Buffalo
Super Bowl,
Bills.
I would rather meet or play Pittsburgh than Buffalo. Oh my
Okay,
God. Yeah. I would
one
rather
has won a big game.
I would rather
Buffalo,
play Baltimore over
yeah.
Buffalo. Buffalo scares me. That's a team. Hungry, man. It's all about being hungry too, I think.
Who is the top weapon that you're worried about besides Josh Allen for Buffalo on offense?
The whole team. The running game. I mean, look what they did with the running game. I can't name names, and that's what makes that team. They got Amari Cooper now or whatever, but
Yeah,
but but he spreads it out, and if he gets hurt, they're done. Let's put it
yeah.
this way: he does so much for that team, but
That would be my concern.
yeah,
Not if he gets hurt, but that he does so much that if he has one all, not bad game off like you know just on par game, they're going to
yeah,
lose.
yeah. I agree. I agree.
I don't think they
But
can. I don't think they can withstand a subpar Josh Allen game. He has one off game in the playoffs. They're done. I mean, I know you can say a lot about a lot of quarterbacks, but some teams are more complete. Like I do think this Buffalo team is probably more complete in years past. But in years past, again, I mean, Kansas City had to do everything they had to do. I mean, remember they were down a couple points with 17 seconds to go,
13
and
seconds.
and
13
they got
seconds.
the ball back and they threw that pass to Kelsey, you
Uh,
know, called a timeout, kick a field goal, go into overtime, then beat. Yeah, so I mean, we'll see. I
all
like
right.
my top five better than your top six.
All
All
right, I'll go with that.
right,
All
we
right, what
want
do
to
you
thank
think?
our.
Go
Go ahead,
ahead.
my man. I was gonna say thank our
Um,
sponsors real quick. Um, we have 336 Realty, been with us since the beginning. 336realty.com for all your home buying and selling needs. Um, Elite Performance Chiropractic. They are amazing. Two different locations. Jeremy Phillips, former NFL player, is the chiropractor there. They do all sorts of special things. Also, in addition to being a chiropractor for different types of sports injuries and recovery, they have state-of-the-art techniques to get people back, to fully functioning. We also have Salsaritas, two locations off of New Garden Road in Greensboro. Went there many times with my kids. Kids, at least at the time, would eat free on Mondays. We go there every week. And then also the one at the Palladium in High Point.
yeah.
And I know you got some friends, some in the mafia, some not.
Up north, I got Jimmy Snow still with us, Imperial Marketing Solutions. He's getting busy, so people give him a call. If you need a nice laptop, which I'm really enjoying the laptop he sent me, or any desktop, whatever you need, any kind of hardware, you can reach Jimmy Snow with Imperial Marketing Solutions at 315-345-8349. And we got Estate Jewelry and Loan, my friend Brian Demore here in Greensboro. If you want to sell jewelry, diamonds, watches, or coins for a few extra dollars for Christmas, give Brian a call or go to his website at estatejewelryloan.com. He will take good care of you. Estate Jewelry and Loan.
We also have Surf Hippie Fishing, surfhippiefishing.com for all your apparel needs. Also, they fishing rod holders, fishing rod carts. I mean, they do it all. I mean, if you're big into fishing, you got to check out Surf Hippie Fishing with a PH. .com, and the owner, I've known him for a long time. He's a good dude, man. He'll hook you up. So, all right, let's get on to the college football playoffs. This is exciting, and I know you're hot about a possible
Oh,
team making the 12-team playoff.
yeah, a little hot, but I'm going to start off real quick here. Seeing that my name's on the show as well, I got to give a shout
Oh,
out
it
to my
is?
Orange man, Kyle McCord, quarterback for Syracuse. They're 9-3, and they sent Miami home from cold, cold Syracuse on Saturday and screwed up Miami's chances of getting into the ACC championship game. And Dabble Sweeney is a friend of Syracuse right now because
Yes, he
Clemson
is.
snuck right into the championship game against SMU, who I can't wait to watch in that game because I haven't watched SMU play at all. But
Can
either
I say
way,
something real quick?
yeah.
Not interrupt your Syracuse. Katie, I'm a co-host with the Jared and Katie in the morning. She won't watch this. She doesn't support me. No, but she's not into sports that much. She has an in-law, basically an in-law distant type of relationship with the special teams coach for SMU, and
Oh,
he offered her and her family like unlimited tickets to the ACC championship game,
in
and she can't
Charlotte.
make it. Yeah, did she think about offering us tickets?
She didn't even
No.
think about it.
No, she's
Come
like,
on,
"Oh,
Kate.
we got to go to New Bern with my husband's family." I'm like, "I know that you don't know me and I'm not related to, but where are my tickets? I would have taken you. We could have gone." And she's like, "Oh, well, I had to get on the guest list." I'm like, "Come on, hook it up." And
Oh,
then
you got to
coaches
take.
tickets, they're going to be great. Anyway,
You got to take advantage of that. But no, I had to get my shit. I had my whole family in this past weekend from Syracuse, my daughter and all that from DC, and we were watching that game, and they went down 21-0 at one time, and we come
I
back and
know.
oh, it was a beautiful Saturday for sure. But back to the playoffs. I'll start off a little bit, and we'll just have a little discussion. But you got Oregon, Texas, Penn State, and Notre Dame are the top four teams in the nation right now. But my main thing right now is they're still talking about Alabama sneaking into the playoffs. Okay, they have
Yeah.
3 losses, Jared. 3 freaking
Yeah.
losses. They don't play in the SEC championship game, so they do not make it to that. Actually, Texas and Georgia are playing in that game. They lost to Vanderbilt. Okay, Vanderbilt put a 40 spot up on Alabama, and Vanderbilt is 6-6, and they are 11th in the SEC. They also got beat by Tennessee, who's legit, they're going to be in the playoffs. But then last week they got crushed by Oklahoma, who are also 6-6,
Yeah.
13th in the SEC. They, I don't want to hear Alabama. Okay, if anything, I was listening to what's that guy's name? The bald headed guy, Paul.
Paul
It doesn't
Feinbaum.
matter. Yes.
Feinbaum. Yeah, yeah.
So Syracuse beats Miami, and he's saying Miami's a fraud. They don't deserve to be in it at all. And I think they do deserve to be in the playoff. Okay, but he never said that about Alabama last week getting beat by Oklahoma to a 6-6 team. At least Miami lost to a 23 in the nation team, Syracuse at 9-3. It all doesn't make sense to me. I'm excited about the 12-team playoff, but leave those teams out. I don't care if they're in the SEC. 3 losses, you should be out. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty about the playoff is one loss used to be death just for winning a national championship.
Yeah,
Two, I mean, it's like, you know, um, there have been people have had 2 losses and made it to the 14 playoff. But that was iffy at best. I guess three losses, you're not out. I'm looking at the projected top 12. It doesn't mean they're going to be in the playoff. You got Oregon, Texas. That's not going to change. Penn State, Notre Dame won't change. Georgia, if they lose, they'll have 3 losses.
yeah,
If they lose in the SEC and they looked bad against Georgia Tech, although an improved Georgia Tech team, in the
absolutely.
ACC overall an improved conference. Tennessee, 10-2. That doesn't because they're not in the SEC championship game, so they're probably more secure because they're not in it. So you're almost getting punished for being in that game. Ohio
Exactly.
State, what do you think about that? Losing to
Woo!
a horrible Michigan team. This team is
Unbelievable.
so bad.
I thought it was a misprint coming across because we were watching the other game, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. How did Michigan beat Ohio State? It's a totally, that's such a big rivalry. So it's totally different game no matter where the teams are in the standings. But they shut them down. What was it, 13-10?
To 10.
Oh,
And Michigan, I believe Michigan's starting quarterback didn't play, and Michigan's best defensive player
wow.
didn't play. And
I
they
didn't
still
even know
lost
that.
13-10.
Oh,
Ugly. I mean, that's just gross to me. But Ohio State will be in it because they're not in the Big Ten championship game. So they're benefiting. Some of these teams are going to benefit from not playing in the championship game because if they did, they could suffer their third loss. Anyway, the reason I'm going through this is because I'm trying to figure out who will not have three losses. So SMU, I think, are they in if they lose to Clemson at 11-2? If they lose, they'll have two losses.
I
Will
think they should
Clemson
be.
will Clemson be in if they beat SMU in the ACC championship game?
Well, they are.
Uh,
Clemson the winner of the game automatically goes in.
but what I'm saying is they'd be a three-loss team.
Who, Clemson?
Yeah, and they've had some ugly
No, they only
losses.
got losses.
No, they got three. They're 9-3.
Oh, South Carolina. That's right.
Yeah,
But they will be the ACC championship. That counts in the
yeah. So
top
it's automatic, right?
yeah, automatic.
But they'd
But
have three losses.
if they lose, they're out.
You lose, they're definitely out. I'm saying they would have three losses. But I think Alabama, if Alabama makes it not playing in their title game with three losses, and like you mentioned, and I think rightfully so, bad losses. This is not
Yeah.
a scary Alabama team like they had with Nick
No,
Saban. No one's
no, you're
scared of
right.
this team. Or let them get in, and let them get humiliated by a team that deserves to be there. So who are we thinking here? Arizona State. I guess
Big
they're ranked
12.
they're ranked 15th. I guess if they win they have a championship game.
Yep.
So okay, so maybe this will work itself out. But there's a lot of two-loss teams that are playing in a championship game, and some three-loss teams.
It's interesting, but I hope I hope they pick the right teams. You got 12 teams, and there are automatic bids and all that because if you win the conference championship, but make it right. There's no way a Bama team that lost to Vandy and Oklahoma even should have a sniff at the playoffs.
Right. All right. So I guess let's say, all right. So Oregon, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame. I don't know about Georgia because we don't know what's going to happen there. Tennessee is going to be in it. Ohio State will be in it. SMU. They'll only be a two-loss team and they lose to Clemson. Maybe that could be a team that keeps Alabama out. Indiana, they're not in the Big Ten championship game, but they only have one loss. It was an ugly loss, but
I'd like to see them in it.
yeah. Boise State will be in it.
Yep.
South Carolina is saying they should be in it at 9-3, but they're not going to play in the SEC. It's tough.
Nope.
Who do we got here? Ole Miss is the 13th at 9-3. Miami's 10-2. Is that
10-2.
really unfair? They lost to a good Syracuse team who played the best.
And a good Georgia Tech team. So they Georgia Tech and Syracuse both ranked team. Georgia Tech was ranked at the time. So, I say put Miami in.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Arizona State. I guess Arizona State plays who? Iowa State?
They play, I believe so, yeah.
They're both 10-2, so I guess the winner of that gets in anyway. I think it'll take care of itself. I'll tell you the team, this may be a little bit off your radar, but the team that ruined two teams' chances of making the playoffs, Kansas. Kansas beat BYU and Colorado in back-to-back weeks. If BYU beats Kansas like they should have, they would have been a one-loss team, and they'd be playing in the Pac-12 championship or the Big 12 championship.
Big 12, yep.
Yeah, Big 12 championship. But no, so Kansas ruined two team seasons, and Colorado would have been a lot of fun in the playoffs.
I would hope that. How about what they did? I don't know if you caught any of their game on Friday, man. They won 55-0, and Travis Hunter went crazy, man. He had an interception, a touchdown, and caught like 140 yards or whatever. It was great.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. It'll be interesting to see. Who do you think? And we maybe end on this if you want here, but who do you think's going to win it all? This is, I think, more open than ever. The only undefeated team is Oregon, but they beat Ohio State by 3, I think.
Yep. And I think Penn State beats Oregon in the championship, in the Big Ten championship.
Oh, really?
That would move Penn State to the number 1 seed. It really would.
Okay.
But as a winner, it's up for grabs. It really is. But I think, oh man, who might win it all? Georgia.
Okay.
Because if they beat Texas, and then so
again,
they'll draw by, look out for Georgia.
With experience and coaching. Yep. Now, who I would like to see win it, that's in this group, that has a realistic shot. The realistic part is tough. SMU, watch them. Watch out for SMU though. This is a really good team at 11-1,
Yep.
and most of their coaching staff is from Miami. I only learned that from my co-host Katie. They got a lot of assistant coaches that all kind of left to go there, so they've got a good team. Indiana's well coached. I don't think the way they looked the other week, I don't think they have a realistic shot.
No,
Boise
no.
State doesn't have a realistic shot. I think they'll
I
be
think Penn,
fun.
I think Penn State has a shot.
Yeah, Penn State, Texas, and Oregon and Georgia. Yeah, I don't think anyone else. I guess Ohio State could get it together, but man, that Michigan
You
loss was
know who's
brutal.
real hot is Notre Dame. Ever since they
Yeah,
lost Northern Illinois,
right.
um, yeah. But they've what 11 straight wins, 10 straight wins, and they don't
Yeah,
have to play. They don't have to play in a championship game, and they're
yeah.
number 4 in the country. Come on,
They,
man. They get a little favoritism too. I think.
yeah, they haven't won anything in 40 years. So,
Yep.
all right. Well, that's interesting. All right. I know we probably want to wrap around this time, right?
Yep.
Can I just say this? I am so happy that the most hated coach, in my opinion, in all of college basketball, for me, that I hate the most, Danny Hurley, finished dead last in the Maui Invitational. Dead last!
0
Eight
and
out of
3.
eight teams. Lost
0 and
all
3.
three games. And he's crying and he's yelling and he's cussing out his players. He's cussing out their refs. He's cussing out everyone that's within earshot. Y'all suck this year. The ride is over. You had a 7'10" monster and the perfect team for 2 years. It's over. I freaking hate Danny Hurley. And you've been such an a-hole to everybody. I'm happy. This is karma, dude. Finished last in the Maui Invitational. Embarrassing. Go back to UConn where no one cares about anything about college basketball except for the women's. Let's go back to praising the women's team. Screw UConn basketball. He'll be the next Ollie, where he had that one flash in the pan championship. He had two. I can't stand him. I'm so happy they've lost 3 in a row. Garbage.
Jared, please, really tell us what you think about Danny Hurley, man. Come on,
I
let it
can't.
out.
I didn't think I could hate anyone more than a Duke coach. He's even more arrogant than a Duke coach.
And we argued a little bit on this. I like him, and I watched those games, and I thought about you every time I saw him going crazy, and then they lose. I go, oh, he's going to love this stuff. But just remember, national championships are not won in November and December. He will be in that tournament, and look out for those guys. He's a great
All
coach.
right. We'll see. Well,
So,
great stuff, my man. And always fun to talk to you. And till next time.